Hi there, welcome to my channel. My name is George Woods, and in this episode, we're going to take a look at that copy data tool in Azure Data Factory. If this is your first time here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all my videos. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an Azure Data Factory. We'll connect to an Azure SQL database. We'll choose one of the tables in there, and then we're going to export that table as a CSV file to an Azure Data Lake. Here we are in our ADF Demo G resource group. You can see we already have 3 resources. We have the SQL Server, we have the SQL database, and then our storage account. We want to create an Azure Data Factory, so we're going to go up to Add. We'll search for Data Factory. We're going to click Create. And then you can see we have our subscription, our resource group, and our regions already filled in for us. Let's go ahead and give it a name. So we'll do ADF Demo G Factory. We'll leave it version 2. Click Next for Git configuration. And because we're not configuring Git for this demo, we're going to go ahead and choose the Configure Git Later button. We'll leave networking, advanced, and tags all set to defaults. So we're going to click Review and Create. After validation passed, we click on the Create button. It only takes a few seconds here, and our data factory will be created. So you see we get our Go to Resource. We can click this button. And then here we are in the Azure portal looking at our data factory. On your Azure Data Factory portal page, there's many other things you can do, such as looking at documentation, access control, and monitoring. We won't be taking a look at those in this video, but stay tuned as we'll have videos on those in the future. Now what we're interested in is the author and monitor link right here. We click that, and that brings up the Azure Data Factory development portal. And you can see here is a copy data. This is the tool we're going to look at right now. I click on the copy data tool, and this brings up our properties window. Let's go ahead and give us a different task name. We'll add demo. We can give it a task description. So demo for copy tool. We'll leave it run once now, and we'll click next. Now what we need to do is create our connection to our data source. And as I had mentioned, our data source is going to be an Azure SQL DB. So let's come over here, click Create New Connection. Scroll down for Azure SQL Database. Click Continue. And let's give this a better name. So right now it's Azure SQL Database 1. We'll change it to Azure SQL DB Source. We'll come down, we'll choose our subscription. We'll choose our server name and our database name. We'll add in our username and password. And we'll do a test connection. You'll see our connection was successful. And I also want to point out this Azure Key Vault here and this Azure Key Vault here. We are not going to use Azure Key Vault today, but I wanted to point those out as I'm going to do another video explaining connection strings and passwords with Azure Key Vault. So for now, we'll click Create. This creates our Azure SQL DB source. Now we have to create our Azure SQL dataset. We click Next. Brings up all our tables that are in our database. So we'll click the sales lt.product. You'll see a data preview. We click Next. We'll leave these set to the default settings and click Next. And now we have to create our destination connection. And for our destination connection, we come over, click Create New Connection. We're going to choose Azure Blob Storage. Come down, click Continue. Once again, we'll change it from Azure Blob Storage 1 to Azure Blob Storage Destination. choose our subscription, choose our storage account name. Let's do a test connection. See connection successful. Click create. And then you see our Azure Blob Storage destination connection is here. Next, we have to create our destination dataset. So I'll click next. We're going to browse to the folder path. I've already created a container within our Azure Blob Storage named Demo Table. And I'll click choose. We have to give it a file name. Since that database name or database table name was products, we're just going to create the products.csv file. We'll click next. You'll see we have the options of changing text format, column delimiter, row delimiter. The only one we're interested in today is add header to file. And what this is going to do is it's going to add the column names to our CSV file. We'll click next. Leave these set to our default settings, click next. And then we see a summary of what's going to happen with our pipeline. We click next. The deployment starts. You'll see the deployment's not going to take very long, but as the deployment was running, if we could have gotten there quick enough, we do have the ability to monitor our pipelines, and we could click this monitor button. Now that it's finished, we also have the ability to edit the pipeline or click finish. So I'm going to click finish and show you what happens. It brings us back to our main page, but from here we could come over and go to our author page and see our pipeline now. So here we have our pipelines. Underneath we have the pipeline we just created, pipeline demo. And then we have our two data sets. Now the names that the copy data tool gives to our data sets is not very descriptive, but we can always change these names if we'd like. Let's take a look at what our file looks like using Azure Storage Explorer. You'll see the products.csv. If I double click this, it's going to download it to my laptop and open up. And once it opens up, you'll see that we've transferred, the data from that table to a CSV file now. And that's how the copy data tool works in Azure Data Factory. Remember, this is a getting started video. So this is only one small piece of what you can do in the Data Factory. So go ahead and subscribe, as I'll have additional videos coming out about Data Factory, Azure Synapse, Power BI, and Azure SQL Database as well. If you've enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you hit that like button. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.